Okay, folks, if you want, you can clean up this bench, and we're gonna be mainly talking today. So no, yeah, I will evaluate you later.
I just ate a bunch of hamburgers.
I will evaluate you later. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. You don't get one. You also don't get one.
This is what you just sent in the email, right?
Yep. Just in case if you didn't receive it. Yeah, okay, I have an extra one. No, it's the one on the phone. I just wanted to have, I want you to have it in front of your eyes. So pretty much the first meeting and the first couple of meetings are going to be regarding just like the stuff that we are already have existed, like documents, something you can see on the documents. There is another doc I'm going to share, like the development path, like U12, U14, U16, U18, but that's going to be later for like next week and the week after that. So pretty much I will try within this 55 minutes to go through the full programming and some on-court stuff that all the high-performance competitive coaches supposed to know. So stop me or raise your hand if you have any questions, but I guess you won't be able to. You won't be able to. You won't have some. So group sessions. Obviously, group sessions are our bread and butter because we are not able in Canada provide enough private sessions. So this is something, provide enough private sessions for a reason that there is not enough court, not enough access. Bubble, there is no outdoor facilities. Half a year we stay in a bubble. Kids are done school. We cannot have, 40 coaches doing 40 privates just simply because not enough room. So we're forced to make our development considering group sessions. So in fact, whatever I say to my students, we're prioritizing group sessions over private sessions. And a little later, I'll explain why. So in your sheets, you see that at the end on the bottom, we have a fitness. And this is from I guess I should start from the beginning. This is already 6th edition. And I probably should have started, this is as of March 10th. As of March 10th, this is what we're following. March 10th, 2025. Why? Because every 3-4 months, I was reviewing it with Roman and we were adjusting it since 2023, since March 2023. Last update, fortunately, only have fitness updated. So anyways, from now on, all the group sessions are going to be including fitness, 15 minutes at least, 15 to 20 minutes, in addition to warm up, except for mornings. On morning, we're starting warm up earlier so we can do fitness a little longer. But the idea is that warm up plus fitness should not take longer than half an hour. That's where we are right now. Importance of fitness is, I can speak about it for hours, but in a couple words, we're trying to make sure that kids are well aware that fitness is as important as tennis, and we're using a systematic approach. So that means that if you're playing tennis 6 hours or 6 times a week, you want to do fitness 5-6 times a week at least. You're injured, you cannot come to tennis, you're doing fitness. Fitness is an everyday activity, and we're changing our mindset towards that. If they cannot do it in the gym, they can do it at home, but it's an everyday thing. And please encourage all your players to do fitness daily. Programming, number 1. So warm up, fitness. What's following after that is fundamental volume training. So all these abbreviations you have. So fundamental volume, we have one of the 3 topics. Every week we're having a different topic. So topics are defend with the forehand, defense, and playing inside the court, art of playing inside the court. Why those 3? Just because given the fact how many different skills we're supposed to learn, we focus on those 3 because they're at this point, as of March 10th, on my personal opinion or opinion of coaches that we've been creating schedules before, are the critical ones, as like For example, playing inside the court, it's like all those drives, swing volleys, aggressive return, and so on. Dictating with the forehand, nowadays, even if you have a big backhand, you cannot go and run around backhands and win a match like that. You must be hitting forehands just because it's opening more angles, you create more quality, more racket hit speed, and so on and so forth. So that's another topic. And the third topic is defense. On the past 20 years, you could see that Nadal and Djokovic probably are the biggest defensive players, the biggest defensive, I would say, postulates, if this word exists in English, like those like defensive icons that we can find. Because when those guys decide, I'm not losing the point, this skill is out, like nobody can pass them on this one. So this is pretty much where those topics coming from. For example, we had topic dictate with the forehand today. We did fundamental volume. Kids were playing forehand cross, forehand inside out. They hit a bunch of balls. In simple words, fundamental volume training is just like hitting a bunch of reps on a skill. If there would be like we're hitting drive, it would be like a lob and swing volley. If we would be hitting volleys, it's going to be volley to volley. If we're hitting defense, here is a little tricky one, because when one side is defending, other side is offending, right? So it's like this week is a little tricky. So, but creating a lot of volume on type of defense that we want. Right after that, we're playing points that respecting this topic. Right, so points respecting this topic. As you can see, it's a topic one. Topic one is a ground stroke topic. Right after we play points, we play serve fundamental volume, serve and return. Every week we alternate first and second serve. As you can see in the sheet, there is a lot of variations of the return. There is a close return, block return, return where you're staying far behind the court. So with return, you can be creative. With the serve, it's just we will alternating every week. 1 week first serve, another week second serve. And depends on which return you're doing. What we found useful over the last 3 years is that we keep the topic for the entire week. Simply because some kids cannot make it daily. Some kids coming only 3 times, minimum of 3 times a week. This is what we have. A criteria to get into competitive pathway, you're supposed to train at least 6 hours. So that means that if kids coming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they get to practice this topic at least 3 times. Right? So it's like, so usually you do close to the same drills. Depending on the day, you're adjusting the drills depending on the skill level of the group level, and so on and so forth. So fundamental volume on serve. Let's say today was the second serve. We were doing today, today we're doing first serve because we dictate with the forehand. We're trying to link it to the first topic. So if it's a first serve, I'm most likely going to receive a return if my serve is good, and I will dictate with the forehand. We got to sell this idea, and we have to come up with a drill that's gonna kind of emphasize all of that. Same thing, we warmed up. You can get creative with that. Sometimes when we do not have time, we just do warm up for like 5 minutes, serve and return. I prefer to play games, competitive games, even forcing them to play games for something like squats, push-ups, where they choose their own consequence or punishment for the person who lost. We're playing points respecting the second topic, and the last 15 or 20 minutes, we try to leave it just a point play, if there is a chance. I will speak shortly about this one. Please pay attention. We have cycles in the sheet. There is cycles. There is 4 cycles, which is change depends on the tournament season. So when there is no tournament season, we are playing more close points. So for example, we could allow ourselves to play the entire practice focusing purely on like looking for forehand. So we did today. If there would be a tournament season, I would keep last 20 minutes open, and I could say, well, look, you can get an extra point if you will hit this specific forehand, but you do not have to. You do not have to. We're still respecting the topic. We still do fundamental volume and that, but you do not have to, versus those 3 months that you see preseason when we do not have tournaments. You have to. We're developing the skill, you have to. So the exercises you choose, you have to finish at the net. You have to return like this, you have to serve like that. Yeah, so that's about it. Like I'm not gonna stop on fitness too much, on the morning fitness. You can keep it as an example for yourself. The only thing I want you to see over here, that it's a progression. So like first month, second month, third month. I will speak about progression a lot because progression is everywhere. Even this programming is a progression, right? So I said it's a 6th edition. We didn't change the lot here for a simple reason, because right now, this 3 months, the focus area is coaches and students. We're keeping the same program and we're focusing on slightly 2 different things. Coaches, we're trying to bring coaches at the same page. And students, we want students to run through this program a little bit more effectively. I will stop on that later. Now, interesting part, Mark. Now you understand why you're here. Mental challenges during the practices. Every practice, we try to come up with something what kids will find unfair, right? As simple as like, well, this person is not allowed to do this, but this person allowed. This person starts point over here in the offensive position. This person is in defensive position. This is unfair. You have to win like this. Or my personal favorite, when there is no explanation behind it, it's just like, you're 3-0 down. Why? Because you have white shoes. Why we're doing that? Obviously, I should have started with the fact that we explain kids why we're doing that first, right? I'm not just messing with you because I'm having fun, even though I do have fun, right? We're explaining like, look, on the matches, things are going sideways. You're more likely not going to receive what you expect than you will receive what you expect during the match. So you're dealing with that. The referee can be random, your opponent can be random, the parents of the opponent can be random, so you do not know what to expect. So we're implementing those mental challenges on every single practice. And we encourage students to understand why it is important to work with it. Warning system. This is new. This is new, and for the majority of the kids, this is why we let all the kids and parents sign the forms. Mark, did you get to see those forms?
I didn't look at them. I think you emailed them to me.
Yeah, that Roman should have.
The warning system was covered. Yeah, that's right. The warning system was covered in the meeting.
Yep, yes, we talked about it. I wanted to stop by because I'm expecting you be able to explain it to parents, why it is that on a green elite, green-orange elite, they have 2 warnings, right? Like you have warning, you go on a bench, you're doing the same warning, you go out. Simply because red-orange elite is mainly, the warnings are based on like a discipline level, like listening abilities, right? And stuff like that. There's nobody who's going on the bench because they're not hitting the forehand the right way. Versus over here, anything should be considered as a warning. Everything what potentially can make a student better and they're not, can be considered as a warning. For example, I've been working with Jose with his forehand on the specific stuff. I told him to do it, he doesn't do it. Maybe he forgot. I give him a verbal warning. I see him not trying to change it. He said, oh my God, I'm trying so hard. No, I haven't met a kid who actually were motivated to do right, who weren't able to do it right. Even Jacob Proper. Even this guy, right? It's a level of motivation, right? So you didn't do it, second warning. Why? Because you can work on your forehand, you refuse to do it. Mental warnings are common. For example, I just explained, we're making those little challenges. Why? Because we want kids to experience those emotions. We want them to get frustrated, but we want them to learn how to deal with it. So if, for example, I said to Juan, you're wearing the white hat, you're 5-0 down. Juan hits the racket. I was like, dude, you got a mental warning. He's like, why? What did I do? He smashes the ball. You got a second warning. Why? Because you have an emotion You're not willing to work with it, right? Tactical warning, footwork warning, anything. I don't want to stop on that, but I want you to understand we're giving warnings not because we do not like the kid. We're judging kids' abilities. We know what kid is capable of, and we do know, we're all tennis professionals, we do know that this is not matching the criteria of he or she is trying hard enough. By the way, effort is also one of the warnings. So, effort is also one of the warnings. Recent example, we have a girl here. She don't used to run for the balls a lot. I don't want to say her name on video, right? But she doesn't used to run for the balls. I see she's doing split step. She's making a first step. She refused to run. Warning for effort. Why? You haven't even tried. It's about you getting and trying to get it. Second warning, 2 minutes on the bench, 3 minutes on the bench, out. Clarify, last thing about warnings. If you did give warning for footwork, and they get 2 warnings for footwork, they sit for footwork. You give another warning for effort, they're not sitting. It's just a verbal warning. So reality is that we have some students who got 12 warnings and still on court. Just because we're pointing at them, look, there is a lot of aspects of your game. There is a footwork you could have worked with, you didn't. Mental, effort, technical, tactical, discipline. You can work with it, but you didn't. So look how much room you have for improvement. Warning system, now the key to our success. And the reason why I want you to all lead the sessions whenever you get the chance to, because not only because whenever me, Roman, or Juan, or whoever is away, we need to back up each other. At any moment, we have to step in. It's the restrictions that we're giving to the kids. So try to make the kid do whatever you want to do by giving them a certain restriction. For instance, if you really want to practice on their forehand, and you see that they're not really trying to hit it, like the ball comes to the backhand, they're already hitting a backhand. You say, you cannot hit more than 1 backhand on the same point or in a row. So they know if they messed up, they're like, oh, I activated. And they go and they look, they're prepared. They receive first backhand to hit, they know, okay, if next one is my backhand, I'm done, the point is over. Those restrictions actually changed a lot over here. I believe that this was the biggest change here. Just because emphasizing those, like making kids do what you want to do, not with asking them, just, okay, this is how we play points now. And because everybody is a good competitor and we're building good competitors, they have to do it. In combination with warnings right now, I do not see how kids would not do it. So if we are having the right information for them, they must grow into good players. They have no option. Last one is regarding quick and sticky verbal interactions with kids. We are all private coaches, and everybody has private students on the group. It's a big advantage for a kid, for sure. That's why try to use the keywords to explain stuff. Do not have a lecture with them on court. The longer interaction is supposed to be with students you do not know rather than the student that you know. In addition to that, try to not give too much feedback. Again, because our group sessions, we try to get as close as possible to a match scenario, right? Things are unfair, mental challenges. We're getting paid for not doing something, right? Like, for example, I didn't hit 2 forehands in a row. Same thing if my opponent has a good forehand and I fit him at 2 short forehands, I lose the point. So I'm getting paid for everything I'm doing wrong. This is the environment. Maintain this environment where they're problem solving on their own. It is critical. If you see kids failing over and over again and refuse to work, that's a warning. If you know exactly that they know, that's a warning. If you do not know, or sorry, if you see that they do not know, which is with your private students, it's very easy. Okay, he clearly or she is clearly looking in the wrong spot. This is where interaction is happening. It's like if you were watching matches as a coach, you're like, you really want to say just this one thing. You say like, if I can just say this one sentence, the match will go the different way. Just let me say this one sentence. So that's exactly how it's supposed to be in the group sessions. Like you really need to wait for this interaction time, because this is their advantage of a group session over the match play, over the tournament, is that coach can actually step in and interact. But we do not want it to become a guidance how you practice. How you practice, coach who is leading the session is telling you how you practice. You're working on that now. Go, compete, win, and work on your own thing. Lastly, I wanted to say like a new thing that I planned for this 3 months. And I think that will change the environment big time. So first of all, get coaches on the same page. By the way, I'm open to the feedback, but this feedback will happen closer to summer. For what reason? Because everybody needs to see and live within this frames. We're following those frames. We see what's happening as a group. And then as a group, we go together and we're listening to suggestions. It's not a suggestion, just, well, I think it's this way. No, live with it. See how it works. 3-4 months, we get together, we're brainstorming, we're making an adjustment. This is how it was before, and I would prefer it to be that way. So if there is something you do not like already, you can mark it. See if your opinion is going to change in a month. Maybe it's going to change in 2, in 3. If it doesn't change in 3 months, go ahead. This is your time. Rise and shine. Biggest change. What I started to do, unfortunately, only in February. I missed January. I didn't do it, even though I planned it. I was kind of following the flow. Excuses. What I want is the kids find their own restrictions. What it means. We're setting up the drill. We're setting up the skeleton of the drill. For example, today we were doing like dictate with the forehand. Actually, can I use someone for demo? Anyone, Jose, you can go there. So that was the drill. I'm trying to make a kid hit 3 forehands in a row. So I'm trying to create a mindset and behavior where the kid hits 3 forehands, or thinking about how to get the next ball as a forehand. So what did I do? I set up the drill that the first shot is being hit 2 meters behind a baseline. Jose, I'm hitting wherever I want. I have a huge advantage here. I'm fitting where I want with my forehand. Get ready to play. Already, mentally disadvantage, big advantage. Mental challenge. So I'm fitting where I want and we play the point. But if I hit 3 forehands in a row and I win the point, I get extra point. Right? And we play first to 7. So what I want kid to do is to fit somehow good. So the next ball will be weaker. So the next ball I can go and dictate with the next ball and think about next ball. So it's just like I'm developing this thinking process. Where should I accelerate my forehand to get another forehand? So I'm learning how to dictate, judging my opponent's ability. Now, let's imagine I am Dylan and this is Kieran. And this is what I want to change right now. So I set it up this drill, but because we play a lot of up and downs, I want kids to be responsible for their progress. So what Kieran's supposed to do in his case is to say, Dylan, can you stay inside the court to hit the first ball? Can you hit off the air to make the environment harder? Or Kieran, instead of starting at the center, can go and stay farther. Open up half a court for Dylan and say, here we go, let's go. Or he can even say, Dylan, you're 5-0 up. I have no room for error. We play to 7, you're 5-0 up. I cannot blame kids for the fact that they do not do it, because like I never paid attention to that, and I was the one who was giving restrictions to those best ones in the group. But realistically, there is always a point on the practice where somebody is quite a bit better than their opponent. And I do not want it to become like, oh, okay, I got this one, so the next 5 minutes I do not work, because even if I do some nonsense, I'll still win. So I was giving a good example to kids on last Friday. We had a art of playing inside the court as a topic. And who was setting up the drill? There was something super, super ignorant. There was, oh, Juan, here we go. Sorry, I forgot you're here. So he set up the drill that the feed must be to the opponent's feet, and I have to play first volley, get closer to the net, and have an overhead. And we play down the line, doubles out. By the way, that's another thing. Never let the coach or never let the kid criticize what coach said. Never. You're always on the coach's side. Everybody's learning how to lead. Everybody's going to be in the leading position. Never let kids criticize what coaches say. Teach them to learn how to see opportunity. And I'm saying it because, for example, just lately, not because it's you, just lately, like a week ago, I had to explain, like Kieran and Simon, why this is valuable for them. I had to go and explain because they didn't get it from the demo. I was like, what? You want to say that you never hit slice from that position? Well, sometimes I do. Yeah, so you make sure that sometimes when you hit this one, you have it. You know exactly what to do, or you prevent that from happening if you do not want that to happen. Right? So you're supposed to be smart with that, because the moment kids lose the respect to coaches, it becomes a problem. I kind of lost my thought a little bit. I played with Dylan. So just an example. So that was the drill. The way Juan set it up, the person's supposed to be feeding outside of the baseline. And as I remember, the person's supposed to stay here. Was it this way? Who is receiving? So let's say Jose is playing. Jose, can you go? It would be easier. I guess I should have said always show demos. So you're feeding to my feet. I play the ball back to you, and you must lob me, right? So Juan set it up the drill the way that I go again here. That I have to play this ball, first ball, and I have to play an overhead after, and I have to play out the point. Realistically, I'm playing Dylan. For those who do not know, right now Dylan is 10. The moment I'm recording this video, Dylan is 10-year-old, right? So it's very hard. I did manage to work myself and lose to him. That's embarrassing, right? So how did I do that? So first of all, I let him be inside the court. I stood up over here. And I said, Dylan, rip the ball to my feet. You can miss the first ball. It doesn't matter. Rip it to my feet. Hit it like a drive. Because I know for my level, sometimes when I need to take time away from my opponent is counter-punching. It's quite realistic that I will decide to go to the net, and here is a counter-punch coming straight to my feet. So here I am in this situation. So boom, I'm hitting that ball nice and deep. Instead of staying here, knowing that the overhead is coming, I was going all the way here to the net. This way, even his weakest lob was making me do a good overhead. His best lob was lobbing me, and I had to go and hit a forehand and save myself. So this is what we want to receive in those 3-4 months period. So please make sure on pre-competitive group, same thing. Make sure that you explain to kids, well, this is the core of the drill, but if you have to adjust it towards making you more challenged, go ahead. Another thing I expect, for example, if it's going to be like Jack and Dylan, They're very competitive, and one of them is going to go and say like, come on, stay closer. It's not challenging enough. I'm expecting this spark to happen in between them, so they're actually like get pissed off. And I was like, are you telling me this? Okay, try to win me now, right? Because those emotions, as we know, if we control this emotion, is the good driver of success. This competitive in between two players. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm finishing with the first part of the programming, which is actually I did pretty good job because next one is shorter. Do you have any questions regarding programming? Or regarding anything I said? Maybe you have something to add also, because I might forget something. Because like, let's say you're leading a lot. Maybe you have something to add. Because realistically, unfortunately, Luke didn't make it today. Unfortunately, Josh didn't make it today. But from now on, every coach will have to lead, just because it's not only good for kids, it's good for coaches' development. Why it's good for kids? Because you want it or not, how creative you are, you always repeat some drills. Right? And like to throw them in a different environment, challenge them a little bit more with like thinking a little bit differently, different scoring system. It's all fantastic. I need this one. Okay, so last few I wanted to talk about coaches, specifically competitive coaches, regarding professionalism component. Competitive coaches, guys, please, things like being on time, things like being on time to start the practice. For example, I had a private lesson before, right? I picked up balls, I picked up the targets. At 59, I was ready to give the court to somebody else. It's not even the rule for people being here, like who is outside of the competitive department, recreational players. It's just like, for example, we had some situations where coach ends their practice or don't even end their practice when the group session starts. So we have lesson 4 to 5. Lesson start, group session starts. Kid's supposed to be either in the bathroom or already supposed to be warming up with everybody, and coach is still working like nothing happens. This is not okay. This is not professional. Same thing, balls should be picked up. Every now and then it's always like you need this, okay, let's do this last 3, right? Like you see everybody is ready, okay, let's do this last 3, because you feel, in the moment, you feel kids need more, like 3 more balls, but it's not supposed to be systematic, right? It's not a systematic thing that I'm systematically staying over, or for example, oh, it's okay, while they're warming up, go hit for another 10 minutes. No. Group session starts, it's like a discipline. We're asking discipline from kids. Please stay disciplined as the coaches. Clear? Same thing with the phone. Same thing with the, with the snack, right? It can be, let's say, for example, Josh probably is the one who using it the most because of his like life outside of tennis. He needs like to answer the business call or something. Get in between the bubble, like leave the court, get in between 2 courts. Or get to the bench, quickly reply. Don't carry your phone with you and stay like this. I guess it's funny I say that because I forgot my watch and I was using my phone to time in the morning. Did I? No, you were timing in the morning. Yeah, so sometimes I'm forgetting my watch. I wasn't using the phone as a timer. Not ideal, right? Snack. Where, I guess, hopefully nobody does this stupid thing as I do, where you're 5-6 hours in a row on the court, but you do need to eat during those hours. Use those changeovers to eat. When kids are drinking water, you are having a snack. Do not take a bag of chips and walk around the court with Pepsi and pretend like you're coaching, right? Another thing, like I'm not even playing right now, I have my racket with me. Right? Like coaches who walk without racket on the court. Again, that's part of the professionalism. Have the racket. Why? Because you always need to show demo. Right? It should feel awkward. Those times when I I give my racket to students because they didn't come prepared. I'm without racket and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm naked, right? Because it's like, it's so unusual. Quickly jumping on the, I forgot when I was speaking about the warnings. We have a certain standards for kids, such as having 2 rackets strung and carry 2 rackets with them on the court, right? Such as having towels, such as having water bottle refilled with water, such as having appropriate shoes, such as footwork standards, right? There is like a mental standards, there is a discipline standards. So don't be afraid to use this word standards. And if you want to be the one who will come up with the standards on paper, like it was with the footwork standard at some point, I need to find this shit somewhere. Standards. We have a standard as coaches. Please maintain it. Regarding feedback again, I wrote it down twice because here I wanted to more speak about, I'm the one who has this scene as well where I'm forgetting that like this is the kids' time to practice. Do not start lecturing them. 1 minute feedback is a lecture. 10 seconds feedback is a lecture. If you have your private students and you spend on the feedback 10 seconds, it is a lecture. Because if I know, for example, I don't know that, I don't know, who should I take? Simon. If I know that Simon goes and hits like this, his forehand, and ball is going up too much, and he's thinking about, oh, I need to get more under the ball, or like, I don't know, all right, opening my racket face, I will say, it's like your chest is up, and that's it. How long does it take? Like a second, right? Chest is up. If I see him struggling, which is, sometimes I'm not coming for like Kieran and Simon to those older guys for the entire practice. I'm not giving them a feedback. I'm just going and I'm checking. And if I see they miss and I'm immediately correct, they do not need me. What they need is appropriate challenge. So what it means for me that I failed with the fact that I didn't challenge them enough that they need me, right? If I'm the one who is setting up the drill. Does that make sense? Yes. So this is where if I see that it's like an hour and 15 minutes of a group session and I haven't even say anything to Kieran and Simon and they're already on the serving drill, they're clearly not challenged. Maybe they're feeling fantastic on the court. Another thing, where if kid feeling fantastic, he's not challenged. Show me the person who feels fantastic when their opponent is stronger than them. Nobody does. Your opponent makes you feel miserable, right? So find this line where the kids are, okay, like, I need to add a little bit. Like, this doesn't work. This is not good enough for this particular opponent. Also jumping on that a little bit. I recently started working with a new player. And I'm starting with explaining him that how important the group sessions are, what I'm actually looking at. And I want to share it with you. We're actually looking at kids failing. We're looking at kids failing, and we're looking how they deal with it. If you're going to go through those things that I'm going to send you the agenda for today, right? But if it's, for example, tactically kid is not doing something right, it's awesome. At this point, it's awesome. Why? Because via reminding him or via seeing the kid is actually doing it, they're getting better. At the beginning, it wasn't there, and at the end, it's there. And we're getting closer to my, like a mindset. The idea is, regardless at what level you started at, you should finish at the level higher. The most interesting lessons are the lessons where they start when kid cannot play well. That's the best lessons. And try to explain it to kids. Right now you're working by fixing stuff. By fixing stuff, you're getting better. Not every day when you're feeling amazing, you're necessarily getting better. It means that you're not challenged if you feel amazing. right? So today I had a kid like almost crying on the court because things were going sideways for him. Get a warning, by the way, for not trying hard enough. They sit on the bench, I see the kid crying, and I say like, look, are things working? He's like, no, nothing works. Awesome, I'm glad you're here. So nothing works. When do you plan to start? It's 39 minutes in. Do you want to start now? Okay, how do I start? Well, the first thing, we're trying to make the ball in. Okay, let's try to make ball in. Ball is in. Okay, we try to make this ball in with a little bit of a racket head speed. Does it work? Not yet. Okay, let's see. I'll see you in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, it's like, okay, I'm swinging and it's in. Okay, now start to move the ball the way you wanted to do it 20 minutes ago. Sure enough, by the end of the practice, this kid, I'm asking like where you're at. He said like, I got to my average. Fantastic. Congratulations. You did your job. That's the most valuable thing. Several times I was saying to them, there's like, to me, if I would have one superpower, I would have a superpower to put you to your 10% on every practice. Right? You're at your 10% of what you can do. Why? Because I want to look how you grow during the practice. How do you grow? By making adjustments. If you're making these adjustments without me, you're growing even faster. Because on the matches, you will not have me. If you are completely lost, you do not know where to look for an answer, raise your hand. We have coaches walking around. By the way, I forgot to say about this one. Walk around. Do not stay just behind your students. Walk around. Let's have a little standard. We never had one, but let's create a standard. What do you think is supposed to be a minimum number of feedbacks on a group session? Let's say we have 24 kids, we have 4 coaches. If each coach is going to give 2 feedbacks to each student, how many feedbacks kid is going to have during the group session? Math. Juan, you're good with math. 4 coaches, 2 feedbacks from each one. Not 17, it's 8. It's 8, right? I believe even 2 is enough. Because if this is those feedbacks that we're talking about, the one that you really want to give during the match, right? Like there was Atlantics tournament, like there was like 2 girls playing, and I was like, oh my God, I wish she knew at least this one thing. Like I want to tell her this one thing, just one sentence, give me 5 seconds, I'll change the entire dynamic of the match. Right? So if that's the feedback, if that's the way we're making a feedback, 2 is going to be the top. So like if you did 2 feedbacks to each kid, you nailed it. It is normal to come and stay on the court, look the kids play, do not find something to say. This is normal. If you don't have something to say because you feel like the kid is too advanced, it's like too good. We have some good kids. For example, Dylan, right? You're like, look at him, oh my God, supreme player, right? Come to Roman. Ask him. You know who private coach of the kid? Just looking at the footwork, right? So you come and say, like, what was the last thing you've been working at? What do you do? What do you want me to look at? Today's topic is playing inside the court. Is there something specific you've been working recently? If not, we have enough standards. Body language, not good enough. Why are you commentating? Not good enough. Footwork standards, not good enough. You do not have to be a genius to spot those things. And I guarantee you, if I would be playing right now, playing a tennis match, you can comment me on body language, you can comment me on commentating, you can comment me on footwork standards that I didn't meet some on a certain shot when I've been playing.
For example, if there's something specific to the player, the player just believes more that this is the issue that he has to learn. Some magic, right? It works even better.
Yeah, he didn't do it, but well, why didn't you do it before lesson with Roman? I was telling you the same thing. It was like, yeah, but Roman said it, right? Like it's like it hits differently. Like it hits your ego as a coach, yeah, but realistically, well, you're doing it now, I'm happy, right? Another thing, last thing about professionalism before the questions is whenever we demo, and this is something that I would say great job for Tennis Canada for the coaching courses, how much they emphasized demo on CP2 and Coach 2, because in Coach 3 the emphasis doesn't go there. On those like demo, it's like a must be, it's a must be. It's definitely a must be thing, right? It's just so much easier to understand and so much easier to see if the kid is buying in, because if you're showing demo and kid is talking, you already know that who's going to get a warning. During the demo, please try to get your shoes tightened, try to maintain footwork standards, try to get as best quality as you can. I said all those stuff is the ones that I'm constantly have to remind to myself, especially with shoelaces. This is what I'm trying to avoid whenever like somebody's leading and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do demo because I don't want to tie my shoelaces, because I do not want to appear in front of the kids that I'm like this kind of guy, right? So I can do it that easily, right? Demo, okay, like engaging, trying not to miss when you're showing demo. I missed lob 3 times against Yale. What was it? Last Thursday. I had to show some skill, and I did it worse for myself. I said, everybody come over here. And everybody is watching. It's like, okay, like this is what you do on a backhand lob. Boom, shank, boom, shank. And the third one I did, right? Well, that was, I would say there was quite complicated stuff. Make them look, make them like, ask them, what do you think I did wrong on this one? Unfortunately, I couldn't, because shank is like, it's obviously, right? But try not to miss. Yeah, I guess that's it. Do you have any questions, anything to add regarding all that?
There's just one little sentence from you. Of course, if you wanted something like this, if you're the only coach.
100%. And this is where what we started with. We're forced to learn tennis in the group sessions. We're forced to. We're forced to raise a D1, top D1 players, which is like around 100 ITF in this environment. We cannot get 3-4 hours of private sessions since the age of like 12 with each students. We do not have capacity for that. Neither coaches, neither hitting partners, neither courts. So we're almost forced to make them work on the group sessions like they're playing a match. So every group session feels for them that they're on the match, at least stress level. Right? So this is why the feedback is same as on the matches. We're trying to be like this magic wand for a kid, something that they can use only on the group sessions. I wanted to say something, but I forgot. There is a lot of things I wanted to say, but questions? So with competitive coaches, I must have meetings half an hour a week. This thing is not going to happen weekly. It's going to happen bi-weekly, but for now it's going to happen weekly. This week, next week, and the following week, we're going to meet. Right? Later on, it's bi-weekly. Why that much information at the beginning? Because I want to share the information that's already exists. Later on, it's going to be more of information. Okay, this is how I personally do it on the private sessions. So maybe you can use it, or this is how I see him doing it, or this is how I think the most effective thing is. Jumping on your question, I really like a sentence that I've heard from a player back in Ukraine. He was saying, "Oh my God, I really love this coach. Like, what was so special about him?" He said, "He doesn't speak a lot, but every word he say makes so much sense. The moment coach starts speaking a lot, words losing the value, right? So the less words you're saying, the most value they have. Even if it's something like focus, to hear focus from somebody who barely speaks but very respectful coach, it hits differently than somebody who is always like focus, 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 come on, focus, focus. It's already lost the value even during my demo. It's not 17. All right, I guess if there's no questions, I will send the agenda. Please keep in mind, I wrote it here March 10, as of March 10. This is everything progression. Most likely this is not going to be as relevant a year from now. Maybe we will go so far where this is going to be like a kindergarten, right? So this is as of March 10th because this is like a 6th edition, right? Maybe it's going to be 7th and 8th. As I see right now, the tennis part changing less and less. There's more like a fitness changes. There's more of like a changes with like a coaches and students. So yeah, okay, to be professional, sorry, there's already time. People have practice.